Um, what do you think of these headphones? Overdressed them. So the tuning phenomenon started after the first movie. We've gotten that a lot, actually. We had the luxury of being able to travel around the world with this press tour. In many ways, it was, when we first did the movie, back in 2000, we were very conscious of the fact that we were exploiting a underground market. You probably wouldn't believe this, but in America, it wasn't popular. We were stumbling upon a subculture in America, and by doing the movie, we popularized it in America. So we completely understand that the tuna subculture started after that movie, and we were aware of that. Probably one of the things we were very proud about, giving birth to this new phenomenon. We were also conscious of the fact that we were making a statement in many ways. The idea of tuner, the idea of augmenting a car, was a very deliberate statement. Up until that point, in movies, fast cars were very expensive cars. And this movie was saying that our young culture, this subculture, could take a inexpensive car and make it as formidable or as powerful or as fast as a Lamborghini that would cost you $1 million to get. So we were it was very deliberate. So to answer your question, that's cool. Nice job.
Because there are cultures all around the world that do this level of stuff. You guys, probably, wouldn't know about it if a Hollywood movie wasn't made about it, and I'm just glad to be a part of that. Yeah. I mean, basically, with the first Fast and Furious, it was the birth of, I think, for me and all of us, of a Hollywood kind of career. So, coming back to it 8 years later is just like, it's like coming back to family, in a way. We all got kind of thrusted into the machine after this, right? So the experience is just amazing. I mean, 8 years later, you come back and you look at your colleagues and your friends, and you're just like, wow, a lot of time has passed, and we're more mature and further in our careers, and it's just good to come back and look next to you and say, wow, there's still love there, like, we really care about each other, these guys right here, to see these two play off of each other in a Hollywood movie is really interesting. It's intriguing. When I saw that they both came back, I was like, oh yeah, seguramente. It's time for another one. Because the formula's right, it's about the group. So yeah, it feels really good. And as far as Trópico de Sangre, I got into this business to write. I always looked at acting as a vehicle to become a writer. And eventually produce. So Trópico de Sangre is a film about the dictatorship in Dominican Republic. My mother's Dominican. I lived in Dominican Republic for 3 years in my youth. I find it a very close story to my heart. Salma Hayek had done a movie about it with a Mexican cast, and I just felt like I wanted to do another interpretation of the liberation of that country from its dictatorship. In a Dominican cultural way, shot in Dominican Republic, and it's hard. It's a third world country, as you might know, and there isn't much of an industry there. But I'm glad to be there, you know, and I hope that, you know, we come out with a good quality film. It takes place in from 1950 to 1961. As you all know, it's like the time of the Battle of Algiers. I mean, you know, Gandhi was prominent in India. So many things were happening around the world. And to be in a little island where tourists come and tell you the stories of how the world is evolving, and you are an individual who can't leave the country and can't explore the world, I found that to be a really powerful story. So I hope I translate it well.
That's very true. I agree with you, and part of the reason why it took so long to come back is because we were waiting for a true sequel. Neither of us wanted to return to a film that felt like we were just creating a Fast and Furious because the first one made so much money. We wanted to do is we wanted to continue the story, like Michelle mentioned earlier. When you think of the Fast and Furious, the original, you think of the cars, you think of the racing, you think of the subculture, you think of the beautiful women. But at the core of it is an exploration of friendship. The film ultimately is a definition of friendship. It's something that we can all relate to on one level or another. And it took us this long to, in some ways, convince the studio to create a true sequel. Not unlike the way, as we talked before, Francis Ford Coppola would approach a sequel. It should be an evolution of story. So it's very flattering to hear you say that you appreciate this movie so much, because that's what the intentions were. And it took us 8 years to do. So it feels very good to hear that you appreciate the film so much.